Welcome in the European Parliament. We are here in Brussels and I'm having a chat with David Coburn, leader of UKIP Scotland and member of the European Parliament. Welcome.
Thank you.
David Coburn, it has been a very busy week in the European Parliament. It was the committee week. You were running from one committee to another.
Very busy.
First of all, you were in the Econ Committee, that's the committee dealing with economic and monetary affairs, and the Minister of Ireland, the Finance Minister of Ireland, Michael Noonan, was bringing a visit to the Econ Committee. What was his message and what was your message to the
Well,
Minister?
I was very interested to see that at the moment they're trying to have a base of taxation in the European Union common to all. And I asked Mr. Noonan, what effect is that going to have in Ireland? Because Ireland makes money, or it has an advantage by having low business taxes in Ireland. And what effect would this have? And is this good for the Irish economy? How is it going to affect Ireland? Would you not be better off having an Irexit and joining Britain and being able to decide on your own taxation? Anyway, he hummed and he hawed quite a lot about it, and I think that they're in a difficult and uncomfortable situation. I also asked them about the taxes being imposed by the European Union retrospectively on Apple, 13 billion. It's a lot of money which they're trying to extract from Ireland. And I said, do you want to be a collector of taxes for the European Union? Because it's not going to go to Ireland, it's going to go elsewhere. So they'll bring it in, but it'll go off somewhere else.
Yeah.
And he was having a very difficult time explaining why Ireland would not be better out of the European Union. And so I think it was an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
And it just shows how the European Union, in general, is not good for countries, especially small countries. It's too much dictatorship. They want to tell people how to run their economies, how to run their own taxes. That might not suit all. Sometimes people may want to do something differently. This is why Britain is much better out of the European Union, setting our own tax rates.
Yeah, and Brexit means out of the single market as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If we're not out of the single market, we cannot regulate our labour market. We cannot stop open-door European immigration. We'll have enormous troubles maintaining our health service, keeping jobs. It's just not possible to do that. And if we remain in the common market.
Okay. You are also one of the members in the Committee of Inquiry to investigate tax avoidance and tax evasion, the so-called Panama Committee.
It sounds tremendously exotic, the Panama Committee.
Yeah.
It sounds they're all sitting there, sort of, drinking sort of fruit drinks and, in Panama hats. But it's not really. It's all about the problems that have arisen about tax avoidance, people using Panama, all the rest of it, which it has a point. Nobody wants tax evasion. That's and companies should be paying more of their fair share of things. The trouble is, in this committee, and I'm increasingly worried about it, that the European Union are using this as an excuse to expand their claws into all sorts of aspects of economic law and everywhere else. And I'm rather concerned that it all sounded very Citizen Robespierre-ish. They want to just regulate everything under the sun. That's worrying.
Yeah. Vera Jourova, the European Commissioner responsible for justice, she was bringing a visit to the Panama Committee last week, and it seems that she wants to link fighting terrorism to creating a taxation union.
Well, they're using terrorism and money laundering as an excuse to clamp down on everything, and I find this is worrying. I don't think this is in the best interest of all. Business needs room to maneuver, room to breathe. There are legitimate reasons why you'd want to have offshore companies. There are practical and necessary international business reasons. I'm concerned that they're just using it as a socialist clamp on all sorts of businesses throughout Europe, and the European Union again trying to regulate more business all the time. And I think they're using this terrorism thing as it should. I said it's the land of George Orwell, you know, using the war against terrorism as an excuse to restrict civil liberties. And you know, he was a far-seeing novelist, and I think that it's very, very relevant.
Yeah. Okay. Beside all this committee work, you were also running and seeing a lot of journalists because of the Trump. Trump is a president, a new president of the United States, or
Yes.
he will be in January. How do you feel about Donald Trump being the new president?
Well, when you look at his policies for his first 100 days, they're pretty dynamic. And he's going to do something about corruption. He's going to do something about lobbying, which is a poisonous thing in politics. That needs to be attacked here in the European Union as well. Far too many lobbyists floating about Brussels. There are more lobbyists than there are in Washington. So interesting how he tack on that. Also talking about how long people should serve in the Congress. A lot of interesting stuff, that some of which might well apply well in Great Britain and also in the European Union. And I think that Trump, he's a dynamic sort of a guy. He is representing the ordinary Americans who are sick to death of high taxes and not getting value for money in their social services and all the rest of it. He's speaking for ordinary Americans. And this is the Americans' second revolution and first Brexit.
Yeah.
And it's very much that they are telling people, like the British people, telling the ruling political class and media classes that they have had enough. And they've had enough being told why they are always wrong by these people who think so much of themselves.
There are a lot of similarities between Brexit.
Tremendous similarities.
Okay.
I think it's like 1848, the year of revolutions, is a revolution that's springing right across Europe, but it's also spreading to the United States.
Okay, last question. A lot of politicians in Scotland months ago were reacting against Trump. They said it's a shame when he's becoming the
Yes.
president. What do you think about that? Isn't that a diplomatic problem now?
It's a tremendous problem. And may I say that at the time I said that I'd invite him for a game of golf to discuss bringing more investment into Scotland. I think I was the only Scottish leader who suggested that. And quite frankly, the First Minister and our predecessor, Alex Salmond, did their level best to damage relations with a man who was investing a great deal of money in our country and bringing jobs to Scotland. Scots don't want arguments with foreign people about differences of philosophy, political or whatever.
Yep.
They're much more interested in getting jobs, and that's what is important to UKIP, it's important to me. And I will be doing my best to get in with President Trump, and my message will be bring jobs to Scotland. My leader Nigel Farage has been instrumental working in his campaign. And I mean, they're even talking about having him being some sort of go-between the British government and President Trump. I think this is a sign that UKIP's coming of age. It's a sign UKIP is going to become the government of the future. And I want to see the losers that are the Scottish Nationalist Party pushed out of Scottish politics. I'd like to see a UKIP government in Edinburgh.
Okay, thank you very much, David Coburn, and good luck with all your work you're doing the next days in the European Parliament, because next week you have another Panama committee. I've seen the agenda. Okay, busy
So I'll be
times.
tackling that. And I'm also looking at the First Minister of Scotland is now talking about interfering in the legal aspects of Brexit. It is not the business of the First Minister of Scotland. This is a British government business. We went into the European Union as Great Britain. We leave as Great Britain. And that was also backed up by our referendum. And that was, everybody knew we were voting as Great Britain, and that was the result. She should abide by the rules. She hasn't abided by the outcome of the Scottish referendum on independence, and she won't do it with Europe. She really should get on with getting jobs in Scotland. I mean, her constituency office, she had to move it because apparently there was infestation of rats. She can't even organise that in her own constituency. She should try a little harder to work for the people of Scotland.
Okay, that's a clear message. David Coburn, thank you very much.
Thank you.